Hello and welcome to the F1 24 track guide and Hotlap series. This is a series where I show you guys how to go faster at each circuit, how to tackle the corners at all of the 24 circuits on the F1 2024 game. Today's hot lap is around the Jeddah Corniche street circuit, this super fast track that's just a little over 6 kilometers. Another one of my personal favorites, and it's absolutely so much fun to drive around here. I'll take you guys for a slow guide of this track, and then the super fast push lap will be at the very end. So the fastest racetrack in the world, or one of the fastest street tracks in the world, the Jeddah Corniche circuit, a track that's been my favorite, or one of my favorite tracks to come to on the calendar. But with the changes that have been made to make this track more realistic, probably not so one of my favourites. Heading up to turn number 1, braking well before the 100-metre board. Turn in as early as you possibly can. You'll be doing this when you're in quali or race trim. If you really turn into turn 1 late and really take a lot of that inside curve, you can really open up turn 2 a lot. But you don't want to be taking too much of this, so about half the car on the curb. Third gear on exit. This is probably the only corner where you're going to be in second or third gear. Definitely the only corner where you're going to be in second. And then round the kink, turn number 3. Shift up through the gears. 6th or 7th gear when you come up to turn number 4. And then this whole sequence, there's no reference point to where you want to turn in, so you really need to choose your turning points very, very quickly. So you come up to turn number 5, or number 4. So turn number 4, just as the wall just to the right is where you can turn in for turn number 4. But it's so easy to turn in very early and really clip that inside wall. If you hit that inside wall, especially at speed, you're going to venture off the track. But if you can get the car to about this point, get over that curb as quickly as you can, and then begin to turn the wheel for turn number 5. So this whole sequence of corners, you're basically hugging the inside wall here at turn 5. And like as I said before, there's no reference point for where you need to turn into each corner. So you really just got to follow the track. You're going to be at full throttle 100% of the way, definitely. Especially in qualifying mode. So you're 100% throttle all the way up to about this point here where you can lift. You probably will be lifting during the race. You'll be in about 6th or 7th gear, most likely 6th gear, 7th gear in qualifying maybe. But this is the real tricky one. This is the one that probably gets a lot of people, and maybe especially those that don't have a lot of experience here at Jeddah, and that's getting hung up on this curve. If you get hung up on this curve, especially during your qualifying run, it's going to ruin your lap because you've got no hope of getting the car back onto the racetrack. So stay off that curve, but really open up what corner is this? Turn 9 as much as you can. So really hug turn 9 to really open up turn 10. Now when you're at speed, don't take a lot of inside curve, or really take as much curve as you can without losing the car, because it's actually very easy to do. But you know, if you just have your car leaning against the curb, then that's completely fine. But you can definitely use a lot of curb. Yeah, the car will be hung up, but the good thing is it's somewhat of a short run towards turn 13, the hairpin. And so this kink 11 and 12, I don't know why a lot of these kinks are turns, because they're just kinks in the road or just little bends. They don't count as corners, in my opinion anyways. So anyway, so that's basically one sector done. Now the rest of the lap is pretty much easy, or easy enough. It's definitely not as technical as the first sector. So we just passed an LED board, and coming up to the 50-metre board, braking between those 2 points is a good reference point for turn number 13. Now brake hard initially, but then as you turn in for 13, really lift off the brake. You want to trail the brake pedal as far into this corner, but you don't want to be on the brake pedal for so long, because again it's a fairly high speed third sector, or turn 13 hairpin. So get your foot off the brake pedal about halfway round, and then get your foot down onto the throttle as quickly as you can, and open up the steering as you come out of the hairpin. Now we're going to start to go back towards the pit lane, or the paddock. And so this turn 14, hug the inside to find lap time. You're not going to find a whole lot of lap time during the race. As the wall juts out a little bit, get the car over to the right and then swing in to the left. Now the 50 or the 100 meter boards, they're not going to be that hard to spot. So what you can do is, when you get the car over to the right and quickly swing over to the left, when you get the car straight is where you can stamp your foot on the brake. Now you need to stamp your foot on the brake a little bit harder than some of you may think. So once you get that car initially, get the speed off the car, turn in for turn number 5. Now again, it's very easy to turn in too early and hit the wall. So if you turn in at the right time and open up turn 16 very, very smoothly, you can take a lot of curb with you. It won't hurt you too much, but if you just have your tyres on top of the curb, it'll hurt you a little bit, definitely. So then drift the car right up against the wall, so therefore you're not taking too much speed off. And then basically it's just only really about 2 braking zones to the finish line. So basically the run towards the finish line is basically easy. You just got to get through a couple of objects, or basically turn 13 onwards is basically, you get more of a chance to chill out. But on this track you can't really chill out because you've got 3 straight DRS zones, one we are in right now. Getting around these couple of bends up to turn number 22. Braking point, when you get the car as straight as you possibly can, you're definitely braking before that LED that you can see above you. So no real reference point, but if you get past the 100 meter board, if you can spot it, really pull the car up and then just basically throw the car into turn 16 or 23, sorry. This is where the corner was brought in a little bit to scrub off the speed a little bit of the cars. So the cars were going a lot faster when in the first couple of years that they came to this circuit, but now that they've moved the turn 22 wall in a little bit, they made sure that they've really scrubbed the speed off the car. So that's why you guys didn't see any improvements from 22 to 23. So the lap times, I think they were virtually the same, the pole times. Now there's two lines that you can take. You can take the normal racing line, or if you're in quali trim, you want to find lap time, just keep hugging that inside line when you get out of turn 24. So when you turn left and then get around the 2 rights, just keep hugging the left hand wall. You can find lap time there, especially when you're trying to find those little hundredths of a second, especially the ones that really, really matter towards the end of this lap. Now, once you get to a certain point, really get the car to the right as quick as you can. Get the car straight before you get to the 100 meter board, and then hard on the brakes initially. Now this corner goes for a little bit longer than you may think. So get to the 50 meter board, turn in as late as you possibly can, definitely before you get to the edge of the curbing. Gently turning if you're still very hard on the brake, but you want to be really trailing the brake about this point here. And then turning in as late as you possibly can. Hit your apex. Again, it's very easy to hit the wall. It's hit, but you could almost hit every wall in this circuit if you're really pushing it that hard. And then out of the last corner, the corner that claimed Max Verstappen in 2021, but thankfully it didn't cost him the championship that year. And then up to the line, just avoid touching the pit lane line, and then hug the inside to find those hundreds, or just keep taking the racing line to complete your lap of the Jeddah Corniche circuit. So a track that's gotten very technical, especially in the F1 game, since its debut in 2021. A track that's going to be, it's definitely one of the more challenging tracks physically as well. So that is the track guide of the Jeddah Corniche circuit. Time now for the push lap. And that was your lap of the Jeddah Corniche Street Circuit. One of my personal favourites, but also not the easiest to get right, especially with this later version of this circuit compared to when it first came out in F1 2021. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If that really helped you guys wanting to get faster at this circuit, then be sure to stick around for more F1 24 track guide and hot lap videos that'll be coming up, hopefully in a quick, rapid amount of time as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hit that like button if you really enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you are new to see plenty more F1 racing game content. And until the next one, I'll see you guys next time.